Do you need to train your abs to get a six-pack? On the one hand, some so-called fitness experts will tell you that the abs are made in the kitchen and it's a waste of time to train your abs directly. On the other hand, some claim that you must train your abs every day. So who's right? Well, the truth lies somewhere in the middle. For starters, abs aren't made in the kitchen, they're built in the gym just like any other muscle by prioritizing exercise to take them through a full range of motion and focusing on progressive overload. Second, although compound lifts can stimulate your abs, they're not effective ab builders, unless you're a beginner, in which case you'll grow from pretty much doing anything. For example, a 2014 study on rugby players found that the back squat was ineffective at activating the core musculature, while a simple sit-up had twice as much activation. Another 2009 study found similar results for other compound lifts such as overhead press and bench press. So if you're looking to fully develop your abs, then training them directly might be a good idea. But what exercises should you do, and how often should you do them? In this video, we'll answer all your questions about ab training, but before we do that, let's quickly go over the basic anatomy first so you can get the most out of your training. Your core is made up of four muscles: the external obliques, internal obliques, rectus abdominis, also known as the six-pack muscle, and the transverse abdominis. The actual functions of the core muscles are quite simple. First, they're responsible for stabilization of the spine. Thus, whenever we're flexing our abs to stabilize our posture during heavy compound lifts, we aren't just strengthening our core, we're also building the muscles involved. Second, and more obvious, the superficial core muscles are responsible for flexion of the spine. Think about a crunching motion where we're bending forward to flex the abs. And although the obliques are involved in stabilization and flexion of the spine as well, they also play a larger role in lateral flexion of the spine as well as rotation of the trunk. Hence why we see gym goers performing endless amounts of side bends and bicycle crunches. We'll be going over exercises that target the entire core musculature. However, we're going to mainly focus on the rectus abdominis as it contributes the most to getting the ripped six-pack look most people are going for. Now that you understand what muscles you're targeting and what movements they're involved in, let's go over the 5 exercises that will build thicker abs. Number 1, cable crunches. According to EMG data, crunches and hanging leg raises were the best at activating the upper and lower parts of the six-pack respectively. Thus, you probably want to include a crunch-type exercise and a leg raise-type exercise in your routine for optimal ab development. The cable crunch is a great choice as it allows you to fully flex and extend the spine. And it has a great potential for progressive overload as you can slowly increase the weight over time with minimal risk of injury. However, to get the most out of this exercise, there are some mistakes you should be on the lookout for. One of the most common mistakes we see at the gym is a lot of people use their arms way too much to generate momentum and move the weight. To avoid this, think of your arms as hooks on the rope, simply connecting your torso with the cables. The next big mistake is letting the hips go back to move the weight down instead of flexing the spine. Remember, the main function of the six-pack is spinal flexion. Your back shouldn't be straight during the cable crunch. To perform this exercise correctly, start by grabbing the rope with your pinkies against the handles and keep the rope close to your head. Before starting the crunch, squeeze your glutes to keep your hips in a posterior tilt. This will help activate more of the abs and less of the hip flexors. As you crunch, bring the rope down and in, almost as if you're trying to bring your elbows to your knees. If you don't let the hips go back, this will result in rounding of the lower back, which is exactly what we're looking for to get a nice contraction of the six-pack. Once you feel a strong contraction of the abs, slowly control the weight back up until your spine is straight and repeat for reps. We recommend loading the crunch with moderate to light weight in the 12 to 20 rep range, as this will allow you to get a good mind-muscle connection with the abs and pose a minimal risk of injury. Number 2, modified plank. The standard plank variation isn't a very effective ab builder, especially once you've developed enough core strength to hold the plank for a long period of time. Looking at the same EMG data we covered on the cable crunches, we can see standard planks aren't that great when it comes to activating the rectus abdominis and the obliques. It's not a bad exercise, but it's not outstanding either, which is why we suggest a modified variation. In a 2014 study, modifying the plank by extending the lever arm and adding a posterior tilt resulted in significantly greater activity in the upper and lower abs as well as the obliques. Essentially, this means placing the elbows forward and squeezing your glutes hard during the plank. When doing this version of the plank, think of driving your elbows back towards your toes and vice versa while squeezing the glutes to generate as much tension in the abs as possible. You'll be surprised at how much more challenging this variation is compared to traditional planks. We recommend starting with 3 sets of 20 to 40 seconds. As you get stronger, aim to beat your previous time. Number 3, ab wheel rollout. If modified planks are too easy for you, you'll want to give this exercise a try as it essentially mimics the modified plank, but with a dynamic range where you can flex and extend the spine, instead of holding an isometric contraction. Similar to the cable crunches, you want to focus on flexing the spine while squeezing the glutes. Something to consider with the ab wheel rollout is that it may be more challenging for your lower back. Having said that, it is of the utmost importance to respect your range of motion during this exercise. In other words, it's better to slowly increase the distance of the rollout over time, rather than going all the way forward just for the sake of it and not being able to maintain a neutral spine, which will place more tension on your lower back. Finally, when performing this exercise, you want to make sure that your abs are responsible for moving the wheel, not your arms. Keep your arms extended and focus on contracting the abs to move the wheel. This exercise can be quite humbling, so leave your ego at the door and focus on good quality reps. We recommend doing 6 to 12 reps per set, depending on your fitness level. Number 4, hanging leg raises. Now that we've covered some exercises that target most of the upper portion of the six-pack, it's time to go over some exercises that target the lower portion. To start, hang from a pull-up bar with a grip that feels comfortable. For most people, that should be around shoulder width or slightly wider. From there, start the movement by rolling your hips forward and up, like you're trying to bring your lower and upper abs together. This will help you contract the abs harder. A lot of people focus on lifting the legs up, but this may lead to using more of the hip flexors and taking tension off the abs. Once you're at the top of the movement, control the legs on the way down and keep your torso stable. Avoid generating momentum by rocking back and forth, as this will make the exercise easier and activate your abs less. Hanging leg raises are pretty tough when done correctly, so make sure that you're not cheating yourself. It's okay to start with sets of 5 to 10 reps, and as you get stronger, try and aim for more. If you can do 15 reps with good technique and control, you might want to add a small amount of weight on your legs to make the exercise more challenging. Although most people will get a pretty good stimulus with just their body weight. If hanging leg raises are too challenging for you, we recommend doing knee raises instead. You can also do these exercises on a captain's chair, which may help with extra stability so you can dedicate all your energy to the abs. Number 5, bicycle crunch. The last exercise on the list, which targets both the rectus abdominis and the obliques, is the bicycle crunch. At first glance, this exercise seems rather simple, yet a lot of people don't get it right. Start by lying on the floor and placing your hands behind your head. From there, slightly lift your upper back and legs off the floor. Keep your legs extended and maintain this position throughout the exercise. From there, bring your left elbow to your right knee by crunching your abs and twisting your torso, and do the same for the other side. It's important to really focus on contracting the abs to move your torso rather than moving your whole body. A lot of people, especially beginners, move their arms way too much, which makes the exercise less effective. The crunch should be explosive and controlled, but if you're not feeling your abs, slow down and reassess your technique. As for rep ranges, we recommend doing these with higher ranges, typically somewhere between 15 to 20. So, there you have it. 5 exercises guaranteed to build thicker abs. As always, don't forget that the main driver of muscle growth is progressive overload. If exercises feel too easy, find ways of making it more challenging, whether it's by adding more reps, increasing the load, or slowing down the movement. On a final note, regarding training frequency, we recommend training your abs 2 to 3 times per week, choosing 1 to 2 exercises per workout, and performing 3 to 4 sets for each exercise. Remember to include a crunch type movement and a leg raise movement to target both the upper and lower part of the six-pack, as well as an exercise that includes some trunk rotation to target more of the obliques. Did you find this video helpful? If so, click the like button below, as it'll truly help out the channel. Also, if you're an intermediate or advanced lifter who's looking to get absolutely shredded without cutting your favorite foods or doing hours of cardio each week, grab a copy of my brand new program, Shredded 12 Fat Loss. This is the only science-based fat loss program of its kind that protects your hard-earned muscle mass and strength and gives you a shredded physique in just 12 weeks. And right now you can get an additional 25% off by using coupon code RIPPED25. If you want to learn more, click the link in the description below. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe for more videos, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next one. Peace.